So in this worked example, I'm going to demonstrate how to create a Google Sheet in Google Drive and how to use it just to create a simple spreadsheet. So first you need to get to Google Drive. If you're logged into your PLU email account, you can go over and click this little apps grid over here on the right hand side, and from there you should be able to select Google Drive, and you should have a window that looks something like this. If you don't see your files in a list like this, click this little grid view, this little button over here, and it toggles back and forth between the grid view and the list view. I prefer the list view, but you can use either one if you like. It's a good idea to try to organize your files, and so let's go ahead and create a folder for this class. So I'm going to create a new folder called CS115 that I'm going to store my files for this class in. Inside of that, I'm going to create some folders for each unit that we do. Again, just to keep things organized. You can organize your files however you like, but I'm going to create one called Unit 1, and I'm going to keep my Unit 1 files in there. So I'm going to go ahead and create my first spreadsheet in this folder. So if I'm inside the Unit 1 folder and I go click on the New button and I just select Google Sheets down here, and that'll create a new spreadsheet for me. And if you've used Excel, this looks probably fairly similar to you. Basically, a spreadsheet is an electronic accounting worksheet. It's organized into rows and columns, and so you'll see the rows over here numbered 1 through whatever, and then across the top you see the columns A, B, C, and once you get to Z it starts numbering AA, AB, and you can have as many columns and rows as you would ever want, more than we'll need for this class. And each one of those intersections of a row and a column is called a cell, and each cell has a unique address. So here, this is cell A1. If I click over here, this is cell D10. So we refer to the cells by their column number followed by their column letter followed by their row number. And you'll notice that right now this is called Untitled Spreadsheet up here at the top. If you go click in that box, you can go ahead and name the sheet, and so let's do that. And it's a good idea to name it something that not only tells you what lesson it's associated with, so I'm going to put Worked Example 1.1, and then I'm also going to add to that another dash, and I'm going to put Lemonade. So we're going to do the little Lemonade worksheet described on the lessons page. And that just will remind me, if I want to go back and look at this spreadsheet later, it reminds me what's stored in that file. So each of these cells in my spreadsheet can store text, it can store a numeric value, it can store a formula or a function. And so we're going to go ahead and start our spreadsheet just by typing some text into cell A1. So I'm going to put a header that tells me what this spreadsheet is about. So I'm going to put lemonade stand. So we'll usually do this, have some sort of label at the top that tells us what the spreadsheet is, and I'm going to put profit projection, because we're going to try to help Susie out here and help her figure out how much money she's going to make from her lemonade stand. And then I'm going to have basically two sets of values here. One will calculate all of the money that she takes in from the lemonade stand, her total sales, and then the other set of values will calculate her total expenses, and then we'll just subtract that from the total sales to figure out how much money she made. So I'm going to put price per cup here, and I'm going to put, she said she wanted to charge $1.25, so I'm going to put 1.25 in that cell, and you'll notice numbers get formatted a little bit differently. They get aligned on the right, and that's just by default in a spreadsheet. Then I'm going to put cups sold, and she expects that she's going to sell 120 cups of lemonade, and then I'm going to type in cell A6 total sales. Now I could calculate in my head or using a calculator how much the total sales would be for this price and this many cups. It would be $150. But rather than type 150 into that cell, what I want to do is put a formula in there that will calculate how much that would cost. So I'm going to put a formula, start with an equal sign, and that tells Excel that we're typing in a formula. And I'm going to refer to the cell that contains price per cup, so I'm going to say B4. And to get the total sales, I'm going to do B4 times B5, how many cups she sells. And then I'm going to hit enter. And then it calculates the 150. And you'll notice if I click on that cell, if I highlight it here, up here at the top, this is called the formula bar, I see that it says equal B4 times B5. So it tells me the formula in that cell, but if I look at the cell now, it's actually calculated that value for me. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to calculate her expenses. And this is lemonade. And she's going to pay $30 for lemonade, and cups, she's going to spend $15 on cups. Marketing, so like for signs or flyers and markers, she's going to spend $12. And then we're going to calculate again her total expenses. And again, I'm going to enter the formula, and I'll say equals B9 plus B10 plus B11. And I'm typing those as capital values, but it doesn't matter. They can be, or capital cell addresses, capital letters, but you can use lowercase if you want. And then now from this, I'm going to calculate her net profit. And that'll be her total sales minus her total expenses. So I want another formula here again. So if I put an equal sign now, I could type B6 minus B12, but I also in Google Sheets can take my mouse and just after I've typed in the equal sign, I can put equal, I can click on B6 and it'll enter the cell address for me, and I can put the minus sign and click on B12 and it'll put the cell address for me, and again I can hit enter and it'll say the net profit is 93. So this is really useful. It's doing the calculations for me, and not only that, if I update any of these cells that are used in the in the formulas, then the amount gets updated. So if I type in, for example, that she only sold 100 cups, I see that the profit goes down, the total sales and the net profit goes down. If I say that she charges $1.50 a cup, I see that the total sales goes back up, and so forth. So the great thing is you can update any of those values, and the results of the formulas will get updated automatically. So I'm going to go back and type in my 125 and my 120 for my number of cups. You also can do some formatting to make your spreadsheet look nice. We'll learn a little bit more about that later. We're just going to do a little formatting right now. Click on this price per cup in cell B4, and up here on the top I can see that if I click on this format as currency tool, it's going to put a $sign in front of my cell, and not only that, any of the cells that refer to that cell also get formatted in currency format. So my total sales. Now I'd like to do the same with all of these total expenses, and I could click on each cell and then click on the $sign, or if I want, I can select the whole range of cells by clicking on the first one and dragging down, and I can click on the $sign and it'll automatically update those values. So this is just a simple spreadsheet. Remember to always put the equal sign in front of your formulas. If you don't, for example, if I just said that something was equal to, if I just type in B5 plus B6, I'm just going to see that text appear in my cell. I have to start it with the equal sign. So that's a simple spreadsheet. I encourage you to try this spreadsheet yourself, and then use what you've learned to move on and do the hands-on exercise for additional practice to create another spreadsheet and with some other formulas in it. So good luck, and if you have any questions, post them to the forum or email me.